This morning, Democrats from the House Oversight Committee released emails from the Epstein estate of Jeffrey and Ghislaine Maxwell, discussing their relationship with you-know-who back in 2011. Epstein writes, "I want you to realize that the dog hasn't barked is you-know-who." You know who I'm talking about, right? Okay. I can't say his name. I can't, you know. And then they go on to say, an alleged victim, whose name was redacted, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc., I'm 75% there. There's also an email between Epstein and author Michael Wolff from 2015, where Wolff writes, "I hear CNN planning to ask you-know-who tonight about his relationship with you, Jeffrey Epstein." Epstein replies, "If we were to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be?" Then Wolff responds, "I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency that you can hang him with in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. If it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt." Okay. Now, the White House has not responded, and the president has not been accused of any wrongdoing and denies any knowledge of Epstein's alleged crimes. But this is a lot of, how many emails was it? Like
about 20,000 have been released this morning by the House Oversight Democrats. So
and I have 3 of them right here.
Emails and documents, I should say.
Yeah.
But it is
Republicans released.
Yeah, it is really interesting to me that, you know, for somebody who screams in the middle of the night on X, who sends out missives, that it's been crickets for the last little while, since people have been saying, well, what is your response to this? So what do y'all think?
Well, you know, during Watergate, the phrase came up, the cover-up is worse than the crime. And that's what the issue that I'm having here. Time and time again, Donald Trump has said, I don't really know much about this Ghislaine. I had a falling out with Epstein. He even denied taking part in a 50th birthday sort of book collection and drawing, you know, a suggestive drawing with a woman's body with some pubic hair and what looks to be his signature. He has denied that. Why all of the denial, if you truly have nothing to do with this? I will say one of the emails that I have in front of me from Jeffrey Epstein to Michael Wolff says, victim Mar-a-Lago. Then it's blacked out. It says, Trump said he asked me to resign. I was never a member, ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So he knew about the girls, allegedly, and asked Ghislaine to stop. That is actually something that is helpful to him, that he asked her to stop whatever was going on, whether it be sex trafficking or abuse,
what he asked
of
her
women.
to stop doing was poaching girls who were working in Mar-a-Lago. Remember, Virginia Guthrie had been working at the Mar-a-Lago spa.
But arguably, this could be helpful to him.
I don't know how that looks helpful.
Why continue to deny it? Why continue to deny it? That's the problem that I'm having here.
Well, Sunny, I have a feeling it's not the cover-ups worse than the crime. I think the crimes that were committed, and I know you're not referring to Jeffrey Epstein,
no,
but I think the people that will come out have committed the most egregious crimes that you could see in our lifetime because it was against young, innocent victims. Their lives forever changed, and there's been no justice for them. Yeah. The more they slow bleed this evidence out, the more I become more rabid that there are things they're hiding. And I would argue, although this definitely, I don't think looks good for Donald Trump, I understand what you're saying, I think that the people they're hiding are not names we might recognize.
Who are they hiding?
Billionaires. There are billionaires behind this, and behind every celebrity, powerful face, there are people, not celebrities, but politicians are.
Won't be just catching strays.
Not
Sorry,
EGOTs,
not,
not
no,
EGOTs or anything
but
like
when
that.
you look at powerful people, they're all covered by money, and it doesn't matter their political affiliation, the gender, the sex, the race, behind power is money. The people that they will uncover are billionaires that have paid their way to continue victimizing sex abuse and rape survivors. That is what I'm waiting to see.
To me, this entire thing from beginning to end has been so incredibly disgusting. And for years, decades, Jeffrey Epstein got away with trafficking, raping, abusing young women, he and his circle of friends, because people looked the other way. Because I guess they thought it was okay to do this to young girls. And it's always been public pressure that has gotten Epstein. Remember, he got that sweetheart deal because he was connected and he was rich and he had great lawyers.
From the Florida
He got a sweetheart deal. And then it was because the Miami Herald did an expose,
Yes.
Julie K. Brown, the
Yes, she
perversion
did.
of justice, in 2018, that the heat came back on. And she told the stories of these women, and that's how he ended up in jail again.
Yeah.
That's how Alex Acosta, the guy who was Trump's labor secretary the first term, had to resign. And that's why we are
Explain
where
who
we are.
he was.
He was
Alex
the US
Acosta was
attorney
the
in
U.S.
Florida.
attorney of South Florida who gave
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein the sweetheart deal. So the reason I say that is because it's up to us as a public to demand and be angry and be outraged. And today is a very important day because you see, 50 days ago, a woman was elected to Congress in Arizona. Her name is Adelita Grijalba.
Yes.
And for 50 days, Mike Johnson has refused to swear her in. And she is the last signature needed in order to pass the motion to demand the release of the Epstein files.
Yes.
That doesn't mean the Senate will, but it means the House will now pass it. And this should put much more pressure on the Senate. Bottom line is this: release the damn files and release them now. Release everything.
But do you think, I have a question for you, Alyssa. I mean, I guess it could wait because we're running out of time, right? But I wonder, will the Republic...
Did you just ask me that question and answer for yourself and went on to answer the question?
And then ignore her own answer.
So we can come back and do that.
I just had a question for Alyssa, because I'm thinking if this vote is going to take place very soon, right? Why would the Republicans...
Which vote you're talking about?
The vote to release the Epstein files. Why would the Republicans vote against that? Because just this morning, the Republicans released a statement basically saying Virginia Giuffre, who was the woman who unfortunately died by suicide, who was one of the main victims here, she exonerated Trump. She said he never did anything to her. And so I would wonder, if they don't vote to release the files, who are they protecting?
That to me is the question. And by the way, I don't think that forcing this vote means the files will actually be released. It has to go to the Senate and has to get a signature from Donald Trump himself. But it does put members on the record, at least in favor of it. And this is an important point because going back, this story's a little convoluted. Michael Wolff is a well-known, I'm not going to call him a journalist. He's not someone I trust. He's been found to sort of stretch facts and fit narratives.
And you've met with him personally.
And I've personally dealt with him. He is the only reporter I've dealt with in my career working with reporters that I felt like was trying to lead me to say things that I was not going to say. I did not have information that supported it. So I don't trust him. This story doesn't require you to trust him, though, because these are documents that were released by the estate, not published in a book by Michael Wolff for profit. And I think the reason that this man, who has been going after Donald Trump for years, wouldn't have released them himself is because he looks really bad at it.
He does.
He's essentially advising and collaborating with the most well-known pedophile and sex trafficker of modern history. So he does not want his name tied to this. So I find them extremely interesting. Where Republicans on the Oversight Committee are pushing back is this. One of the released emails has Epstein saying, "I want you to release that dog that hasn't barked, Trump. Redacted victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never been mentioned." It turns out that redaction is Virginia Giuffre, who has in her own memoir said she did not engage in inappropriate relations with Donald Trump. So that leads me to the point, what do you have to hide, Republicans? If this does not implicate Donald Trump, why wouldn't you say release everything? Vote this vote up. Every document should be out.
When we talk again about the money, though, let me bring up a more boring thing that's going on. 4 major banks have been sued by Epstein's victims. And one settled for what feels a little guilty, $290 million for not handling how Epstein did his finances. These banks didn't follow their own rules, and 4 have been sued and 2 have paid out. So they were not guilty, but they settled. But I think the point here is there's more going on, and it all comes down to money. It's
and power.
money, but money and power.
If it's not Donald Trump that's implicated, why would he not release
Because
the
I
files?
assure you there's donors on there.
I don't think Donald Trump could be elected without billionaires. I don't
is-
think the billionaires behind everyone we know, they'd go down.
This tale is old as time. Powerful men protecting powerful men and thinking that having sex with a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old girl against her will is no big deal.
Well, this is, as you know, this has been going on in this country since this country was founded. It's not new. But I will say, there are 20, what'd you say, 20,000?
Yeah, documents.
22,000 emails. I'm waiting for them to go through each and every one of them, and then I'll exonerate him.
I want to see
I want to
him.
know what's it. There's 22,000.
But you know, when Marjorie Taylor Greene was here a couple of weeks ago, she said that she had offered the victims of Epstein to read the names on the House floor because they are afraid, the victims are afraid to release those names for fear of prosecution, for fear of liability, for fear of getting sued by powerful men with powerful attorneys. But you know what should happen? All the women in Congress should together read the names and read the emails, get together because they have congressional immunity.
But you know what? That would require everybody working together. That would require everybody.
Where there has been bipartisan.
There have been
some bipartisan support.
I believe there's been quite a bit of bipartisan, but I don't know that the women feel strong enough to go against what they know is going to be backlash for them. I do think that it is quite possible that that is going to happen, but not the way we think it is.
And can I just add, I also think victims here are still afraid of retaliation and retribution. So even if they let someone else say the names, they're terrified for themselves. And Virginia's life should not have ended the way it did. It's a tragedy, it's evil,
and by the way,
wrong.
that is why rape remains the #1 underreported crime in our country because women think they won't be believed and they are afraid for their lives.
And they have good reason.
And they have good reason.
We've seen it. We've seen people dismiss it even after you've proved it.
Exactly.
So it's crazy. But Michael Wolff told ABC News he couldn't remember the specific emails or the context, but that he was in an in-depth conversation with Epstein at the time about his relationship with you-know-who. He said he was pushing Epstein at the time to go public with what he knew about you-know-who.